Good afternoon, family. Thank you for joining me again with Talking After Dark. And I think today, after a recent conversation with a friend of mine about her ability to be able to find a good suitor, a good mate, or somebody to share her life with, it brought me to a topic, or for I guess this topic is true fellowship with God. So I know we're supposed to be talking about relationships and the effects of relationships when they fall through and they hurt us so much so that they cause us to find ourselves in a situation where sometimes we just don't know how to deal with the struggles of having lost a relationship. And when that happens, we find ourselves looking for love in all the wrong places. We look for love in all the wrong places because we think that the best way to survive a loss or survive or to deal with the pain and the hurt from a dark space is to, from a man's perspective, is to get someone up under us, or a woman's perspective is to get the next person in line. In both instances, those are the wrong ways to pursue another relationship, especially one that you are serious about, especially one that you want to be committed to, and that you're looking for value principles, those things that are endearing to you, that are going to add to your life and not take away from your life. Those opportunities don't exist in run-of-the-mill relationships. They don't exist in situations where you're hurrying through the processes of moving forward as opposed to just taking your time and allowing it to happen. I can tell you that having fellowship with God will allow you to take some time to allow God to minister to you, to minister to your spirit, to minister to your soul, and to minister to your mind, so that when you do move on, you have clarity of mind, clarity of spirit, clarity of soul, because you have surrendered yourself to the principles of God's principles for relationships, and those things will allow you to make yourself available and ready for the right person at the right time. Too many times we have the wrong people at the wrong time doing the wrong things in our lives. And if we allow that to exist for too long, then the right person can't be in the right place, and they can't be at the right time to do the right thing. I know that sounds sort of kind of like an oxymoron, but it makes sense if you think about it. It's like something I heard a preacher say about personnel, having the wrong people in the wrong place at the wrong time doing the wrong things, or you having the right people in the right place doing the right things at the wrong time. It's no different in your relationships. I guess one of the most important things that we have to learn and we have to understand is that we can't fix ourselves. I know we think we can. I know we think we have everything that we need to to make ourselves whole again, because we figure we know what we need and we know what we want. So we get up on this bandwagon of fixing ourselves, or uh, motivating and stimulating ourselves to do what we think we need to do with ourselves to move on to the next level. Um, but if you understand that, what I just said, that you can't fix yourself. So if you can't fix yourself, that means you're going to have to look for help outside of yourself. So uh, another thing that we have to understand is that when God works and God moves in your life, because we are natural and we're not in the spirit, we're not. So God is always going to use someone, a person, to come along in your life, in your space, to help you to navigate that change, to help you to get over that hurdle, to help you get through that process. And the person that comes along to help you do that may not be the person for the long term of this change process, but it may very well be the person to effect the change that needs to exist in your space. As you continue to reach out and have fellowship with God, God begins to speak to your spirit. He begins to speak to your soul and begins to tell you things in earnest to help you articulate where you are and where he's trying to take you. Um, so as we begin to look for love and look for love in all the wrong places, um, so I will kind of caution you against just looking for love, because love in itself is just a byproduct of the bigger picture. Now, the bigger picture is what we call trust and respect. So with trust and respect first, knowing that if you trust and if you respect that person as well as yourself, the love factor, which is going to be the byproduct of that love and respect, is going to avail itself to you in such a way that you guys are going to be inseparable. Inseparable because you trust each other and you respect each other. That is not easily obtainable. And the reason it's not easily obtainable is because we always want to put the cart before the horse. Now, that sounds good and it looks good, and it doesn't always work out just that way. But what it does do, it allows us some time to digress from self and to allow something else or someone else to come into our space to help us to get to that next level. It's like going out with your friends and you putting on a certain outfit that doesn't favor you at all, that doesn't do anything for you, that as a matter of fact is unflattering to the 10th power. So what kind of friend would that be if they didn't say to you, girl, I wouldn't wear that? Or dude, I don't think that's what you want to do. I don't think that's what you... We all need that person in our lives that's going to keep it real with us, that is going to tell us the truth about what we're doing, what we're wearing, where we're going, and how we're doing things. Um, we always think that we're islands unto ourselves, that we don't need anybody else, but that is so far from the truth, because everything that God does, for instance, comes to us by way of another person. It comes to us by way of a change agent. And that change agent is from a personal perspective. Personal perspective means that there's someone that comes into our space that reminds us of where we are, reminds us of what we're doing, reminds us of what we look like and what our actions look like, to keep us in right perspective. God loves us so much so that he always sends someone to us to help us, so that we don't have to try to do what we're not supposed to do, and that is fix ourselves. Um, it is, I guess there's an old saying is that build it and they will come. So if you take the time and build yourself back up, if you gird yourself back to the way you need to be in right perspective, you have your mind right, your spirit right, and your soul right for another relationship, then you are in the right place at the right time to do the right thing with the right person, because you have taken the time to consider all of those things and put them in right perspective to make you whole again. So trying to move further in life and in relationships without clearing the space or clearing the air in all of those particular areas will not subject you to a right standing with the right person. Um, if you're serious about this, and there are plenty of people who think that relationships are just about moving forward, or moving to the next person in line or the next space or the next opportunity. That is so far from the truth. Uh, Understanding that all of this is a process, and that sometimes we forget that God is in control, that he is in control of everything, that he is sovereign, and God will not cause anything negative in our lives, but he will allow some things to happen in our lives, because and think about it this way: if God allows things to happen in our lives, he has already offered up the way out. He has already offered up the fixer for what the ill is or what the problem is. He has already offered up what the solution is going to be in that situation if he allows it. He is never going to allow anything in our lives that is going to cause us great harm or great defeat or great suffering. Although he will allow certain things to happen and to exist, it's because he wants us to keep our focus on him and not on them. If we consider what it is of who God is and what we want from him and what he is able to do and to deliver to us, we will know that if we do our part, he will certainly do his part. Now, as I told you at the top of this conversation, that I had a friend to ask me, why is it that she can't find the right suitor? Why is it that there seems not to be any good men out there? And that's so far from the truth. There are so many good men out there. There's so many good women out there, but we pursue them from the wrong perspective. We're looking in the wrong places to find what it is we're looking for. And if you are diligent about having fellowship with God, you don't have to look. You don't have to search. It will find you. It will seek you out. You won't have to look for it. If you focus and concentrate on who this God is, who he is to you, and whose you are, you'll begin to seek. Sometimes we take things too literal. We take them too literal to a degree that we really don't pay any attention to what it means. For instance, when it says, "To whom much is given, much is required," we just believe if we ask for a lot, then the expectation is a lot. But but that says other things. There's other implications of that. When it says that God says, I have in store for you goodwill and good faith and good measure, all those things that a promise of goodwill and good measure, that he wants you to be fruitful and multiplied, and he wants you to be successful in all that you do. But you have to remember, with everything that's said, with every word that is given, there is a greater revelation in the interpretation and the understanding of those things. And sometimes, because of our own abilities or our own lack thereof or whatever, we take those things to where we can understand them. But when we should be asking that God releases to us an understanding that is beyond our understanding, so that we understand it as it is intended to be understood. That may sound a little complex, a little difficult, but if you take some time and think about it, and you think about these things that we believe in, the things that we have faith in, and ask yourself why you believe what you believe, why you have faith in what you have faith in. There should be a question, because if there's a question, there will be an answer. You may not always like the answer. The answer may not always be what you want it to be, but it will be the answer that is needed for your situation. So listen, I want you to think about this as you consider the hurts and the pains that you're dealing with and the struggles that you're having in finding a good suitor for your time and space. Consider first your fellowship with God. Consider first that you can't fix yourself, that you do need help. You may not be sitting on somebody's sofa, telling them about your life and your living, and have people talk about you as you think they will, because they figure you're talking to a psych or something like that. We all need to talk to someone. That someone may not have to be a psychiatrist or whatever, but we do need to have someone in our space, someone in our corner that truly has our best interest, that is truly someone that we love and that respect, that can give us information and advice that we can count on and depend on, because we know that they have our best interest. And if you consider that trust and respect is the most important things that we should be considering in our opportunities to look for the right suitor, and not so much looking for love. Love will find itself. If you put those other things in their proper place, love will be a product of the trust and respect that you have for yourself, and the trust and respect that you have for the person that you're going to be connected to. And in any given situation, in any space, especially in a relationship, it must exist with two people who are forgiving. Both souls must be forgiving souls, because we are not always going to agree. So in agreeing to disagree can sometimes just create problems, and it can create its own issues. And that should not always make us separate ourselves from what we think and love and feel about each other just because we have a difference in agreements. But what it does do, it allows the trust and respect for each other to manifest itself in those moments and opportunities to take over those difficult times and situations of misunderstanding and lack of compromising opportunities or whatever. So what I'm saying to you is this: don't be in a rush to do anything, and also don't take forever to do it, because God will speak to your spirit. He will speak to your psyche. He will speak to your soul, and He will give you unction as to right or wrongs, or to His word and His principles and what He wants you to do and what He wants for your life. Whether we listen or not, that's another story. But I want you to also make sure that you understand that there is life after death. So after the loss of one relationship, there is life, but you have to pursue it from a different perspective. There is, and there will be other opportunities, but you have to take the time and get yourself together and make sure that you're in right standing as you pursue a life with someone else. We're all different for a reason, and there's certainly someone for everyone. And if that is true, that there's someone for everyone, and you're no longer with the person that you used to be with, for whatever the reason is, that means that that right person for you is still out there. They still exist. So how do you find them with the struggles that you feel? How do you find them with the pain that you're experiencing? How do you find them with the struggles that you're going through? You surrender yourself to God. You surrender yourselves to the fellowships of God, so that God will minister to you in such a way that He patches the hole. He fills you up. He gives you what you need. He puts the gas in the tank that's going to give you the energy to move forward. He's not just going to put any gas in your tank. Certain cars require unleaded, certain takes supreme, certain take octane, whatever all those things are. He is going to give you what you need to do what you need to do. But you have to trust the process. You have to trust that if God allowed it, He allowed it for a reason. Not to hurt you, not to kill you, and not to take away anything from you. Every relationship is supposed to add to you and not take away from you. So if you're going to be in this fellowship with God, trust me that when this union is solidified, and God knows that you're serious about Him, that you're just not using Him because you want to move forward, He is going to give you the desires of your heart. The most amazing thing about this is that it's going to happen in such a way that it will even catch you off guard. It will surprise you as to how God moves and how He works. Learning how to speak to the universe with great expectation, knowing that the words that come out of your mouth are the words that governs your situations, your circumstances. Every word that proceeds out of your mouth matters. And it's going to fall on some ground, some space. It's going to be a seed, and it's going to take root. So if you know that, then you want to be able to speak things to your life, speak things out of your mouth that is going to put you in the best place, in the best situations, in the best light. So you have to learn how to tell the universe what you want. It's no different than telling people how to treat you and what you expect from them. It's the same thing in talking to the universe. Tell it what you want. Tell it what your expectations are, and watch God move in your life. Watch your situation and circumstances set, because you will receive what you believe. And what you believe is what's going to come out of your mouth, because what comes out of your mouth is going to make all the difference in your life. I want you to take some time and consider this conversation tonight, and really think about having fellowship with God if you don't have fellowship. And if you do have fellowship, think about what it is that you are asking for, what it is that you are willing to give up and to surrender to have this right stand in this right place with God, so that you're not just using Him to get what you want, that you're actually serious about the fellowship. Consider it, think about it, share it. Also, I need you to share, like, and subscribe to Talking After Dark. If there's a conversation that you want us to have, that you want us to talk about, send the information, respond to the opportunity so that we can talk about it, so that we can at least have this conversation so others can respond to it as well, so that we can at least have a different perspective on outcomes that we like to see in our own lives, some of our own struggles. I can guarantee you that there's nothing that you're going through that no one else has been through, has gone through. So share, like, and subscribe. And remember, Talking After Dark is here for you. Let me hear from you. Take care.